listeners, welcome to another episode of the Cuddlepunk Podcast. It's a very special episode of the Cuddlepunk Podcast. I am the mastermind, the dumbest girl alive, Veronica Vext, here with my brand new co-host.
Sometimes co-host, Scarlett Rose.
Very excited to have Scarlett here. She's going to just be popping in basically whenever she can at this point. But to have it be her first official co-host episode, we had no choice but to have one of our favorites on this show. You know him as one of my 5 children, the leader of 10-monthsummer. Nish Ahmed is here. Nish, how you doing, bud?
Good. How are y'all doing?
We're doing great.
Still recovering from the bottom surgery Charlie gave me at the Split Jaw show.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild night. Still hurts. Thanks, Charlie, for that.
Thanks, Charlie.
We're trying to cage him for his behavior, but he keeps getting out.
He needs it at this point, honestly.
He absolutely does. Charlie Tenmo, the most gender-affirming transphobe I think we've met thus far.
Yeah, it was impressive watching him set up like a full OR in the middle of the pit. Like that was really impressive to watch.
He's gonna be mortified when this goes.
Good. That's
they
the
do
idea.
Not, they do not
That's
know I'm here doing this, so they're gonna be like, "Wait, whoa, cool, Cuddlepunk," and then Trust me, like, "What the heck?"
Look, he's the single one, and he's the straightest white dude out of all of you. We have no choice at this point.
That is true.
Charlie,
all respect to Charlie. Charlie, I know
we
it
love
was an
you.
accident.
We love Charlie.
I know you
We
cut
love
my dick
Charlie.
off by accident. I appreciate it though.
Well, while we're talking about controversy, Nish, I'd like to talk about y'all's greatest controversy real quick in the Tenmo gang. Real quick, what the fuck was all of this?
Okay, here.
I want you to defend yourself here.
Easy. I'll defend this all day. Hear me out, okay? People are like, "Oh, they're so cute, they're amazing." I am looking at them purely as the money-making machines they gotta be in the Pokemon world. It is
And you
dog
don't put Pikachu
eat.
at the top. You don't put Pikachu at the top, the company mascot.
Oh, you mean
if you're
Pikachu?
ranking it by money
You mean
put him in the
Pikachu
fucking
who gets
C tier?
bodied Gym 1 Pikachu mascot?
Who gives
My
a shit if he
ass.
gets bodied? He's the face of
Bodied.
the fucking company. How many
Bodied.
I literally just
Look.
had someone send me today. They found a random set of Pokemon stuff. The only thing I saw was fucking Pikachu.
Yeah, well, you know what?
But none for that.
Good for I gave him the C, you know. He got a passing grade, you know, but it's just I don't know. I'm
just glad that you've got Mudkip where he belongs.
That's true, yes. Did I maybe put Oshawott a bit? I could like maybe see Oshawott as a C possibly, but like I stand by Chikorita, and people are like, "Oh, you've never loved the Chikorita enough." My first level 100 Pokemon ever in my life was level 100 Meganium. I know the grind it takes to get that little shrub to get to the top, and it is horrid. So I stand by it. Chikorita, bottom tier. Cute little thing. Bottom tier.
I agree with Chikorita being bottom tier.
I've also never beaten a Pokemon game, so I don't think that I'm really
What the hell?
I've played a great deal of them, but I've never beaten one because I'm bad at strategizing.
What are we even doing here?
You know what's crazy is I actually do have a little bit of controversy not related to the Pokemon thing that I don't even think I've told you.
Please do tell.
So a little bit of backstory. I grew up ultra religious, and I didn't really get the chance to like experience a lot of this music as it was coming out. And like later in life, I definitely found like I know not to spoil it before we get into it, but you know I found Fall Out Boy in like 2014. My first girlfriend showed me American Beauty, American Psycho like the day it came out. And I definitely turned into more of a Foley girl than anything else. Like
absolutely.
That was it for me. That still is it for me.
Sure.
Up until last week, I had never actually sat down and listened to Take This to Your Grave. I've heard some songs on it.
What are you doing to me?
I realize the cred that I'm losing. Please understand, it was God
No.
himself who told me I could not listen to it.
Look, God delivered their message through many prophets over time, and it's about when you find the gospel and you found your way there. You found Take This to Your Grave.
Oh,
so
are
it's
you
fine.
calling Joe
It's
Biden
fine.
a prophet?
I'm calling Pete Wentz my Lord and Savior. As in, like, I don't think that I would be here in any capacity, creatively or emotionally, I think, without like Fall Out Boy as a band. If there's no Fall Out Boy, there's no 10-monthsummer or anything I do creatively.
It definitely shaped a lot of like what I listen to now. Like I was at the Boys of Summer tour with Wiz Khalifa. That was like one of my first shows that like I wanted to go to because I knew about the band.
I went to that same tour, but it was in Massachusetts. I was in Massachusetts still.
I was at fucking Tinley Park
That show was my
Hell
first
yeah.
contact high. Thank you, Wiz Khalifa.
Oh no, absolute same. That was still back when I was like actively practicing religion, and my mom took my 5 years younger than me sister and I. And when those giant inflatable joints started bouncing around,
Yeah.
I remember the panic in her eyes.
She's like, uh-oh, what are we doing here?
Yeah, yeah,
We gotta get out of here.
exactly.
I want to talk about, like, in terms of emo music, like, we're talking about, like, your influences and everything in terms of what in terms of the music and everything and what the goals are for you doing. You are the one straight guy who I would say yearns about as much as a lesbian, and you are now engaged to the person that you wrote most of those songs about. You kind of
Congrats,
won.
by the way.
You won in
Thank
terms
you.
of being emo.
I think, well, I mean, I think that's a fair statement. I think I do yearn basically like us, desperate woman. Uh, I don't
We know
know.
all about that.
We sure do.
We
Yeah.
know all about that. Lesbian yearning
Um,
is real, and it can even happen to straight guys. It's real.
true, true. I mean, I mean, what do you want to ask about like the influence? Like how do we get here? You know, what was
Yeah, how did we
the
get to where we got? Because Fate Lines came out last December. We put
yes.
it as an honorable mention on our best list because it's fucking, the Fate Line is so fucking good.
I know it's been out for a minute, but go stream Fate Lines.
Stream Fate Lines by
Stream Fate
Tenmonth
Lines,
Summer.
Stream Fate
please.
Lines. Go do it.
Yeah, tell us what the inspirations were for most of those songs, like both musically and obviously emotion wise going into the lyrics.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for those that are interested in, you know, sonically hearing some in the background, we have on our Spotify profile playlists that each member has of kind of what they were listening to as we were writing the record. But I think in terms of like the lyrics and the stories, like I don't know, I'm 31, you know, I'm old as shit, my bones creak, and I'm just like I think I don't know. I think at a point like rage raging about relationships has to become performative. I don't know. I feel like there has to be a time I have to say I'm gonna put down, you know, the stick of anger and then ask for the olive branch of like love. Because I don't think you can be so angry and like truly give yourself to someone. And I think that to be in a good relationship and to like capital Y yearn means to like really give yourself up. I think there's a difference between desire and yearning, right? Like desire is like very much like the selfish center, right? It's like I want this person for me because like I need to be satisfied. Whereas like a yearning is just like here is this person externally of me, and like they are so captivating that I want to like do whatever I can for them. I want to be better for them. I want to like, you know, not like change to like, you know, give up yourself for them, but like change in ways and grow in ways that like people do in relationships, right? And I think like, you know, growing up as a super angry kid, you know, depressed, anxious kid in a brown household in a post 9/11 world, didn't know my place in the world, wanted to do creative arts. My parents were like, don't fucking do that. Be a doctor, do math, be an engineer. Um, you know, all my peers in a white suburban town were not so fun to be around. And I was going to these like emo pop punk shows growing up, and I felt also alone because I was like one of like three melanin skinned folk, you know, people out there. And so like I spent a lot of my like teens and maybe like in my early 20s like really upset. And like I think that's valid. I think that like that shapes you. I think anger is valid. I think, you know, we must feel despair to know what it's like to come out of that, right? Um, and like the last band I was in with Luke, you know, Ocean Glass, like we were trying to write some like heavier stuff, but like we also had people in the band who were, you know, writing some like lighter, like instrumental. So I don't think we really tapped that rage in there properly, but I was trying to do it. But I think like through that band ending, through also like getting married and getting divorced, you know, like I like realized like, you know, there will always be an easy route to be angry and upset and be like, fuck you. But it's much harder to say like, oh, like I also like need to like meet you somewhere, right? And I think when I was writing Fate Lines lyrically, I was thinking of my partner, you know, Mariana, and she's like she's an angel. Like I mean, I can never speak, and I'll probably spend the rest of my life trying to write how amazing she is, and I will never capture it. But like, you know, she's taught me a lot about like, you know, my faults, my flaws, you know, my gaps, but also like accepting those, asking, you know, pushing back on what does need to change, you know, because like we can't make anyone perfect, right? But we can ask someone to, you know, work on some of their habits, their mistakes, their shortcomings. And I think that she's done it in a very graceful way, and many times where I haven't deserved that space. And she's still giving me that space to grow, to air, and try to fix things. And I think that we have a lot of music in the emo scene that really captures the breakups, the hardships, but I don't think we have enough music that captures like the beauty of like being with someone and feeling secure in your insecurities, because we're all insecure fucked up kids, right? I mean, like, I don't think anyone is like, I don't think people that have spent 8 years in therapy are then going to go write an emo record. I think they might write it while they're in therapy, possibly, right? But I think there's like some demons we exercise, right? And I like wanted to just write a piece of like, you know, uh, I just want to write some stories about things that were hard but still positive and moving forward. And like Fall Out Boy is one aspect of like being able to tap into rage, but I want to like right now the Wonder Years are on their Burst and Decay tour, right? The is it 2 or 3? They've done so many now, right? But they're turning a lot of these like like that's a band I watched go from like collegiate alcoholics mad at the world, pissed off about dude bros at frats, to like struggling to like keep like a family together in terms of the band and also a relationship together, get married, have kids, and then do that whole thing, right? And I feel like I may be like 5, 6 years behind that journey, but like that was a really beautiful arc to watch if you look at their discography. And I'm not talking so much right now, I'm so sorry, but like
do you
but like
understand what this show is? You
But,
guys
like,
Exactly what this is for.
y'all are Yearncore and Yapcore. We know about
that's
what
true.
we're here for.
I'll never shut up. But yeah, I just
You're
yeah,
with my
like
kind. You're
I think the Burst and Decay is a really good indication of like the space we need, to have some like just like I mean, like on the flip side, right? Arm's Length just put out like the saddest record of all time, and I think that's really good. I think it's good that we have space for that too, but I think that both can coexist, right?
Hurt Goes On Forever is my favorite Wonder Years record. That record got me through so much when that came out in 2022. And
Yeah,
they're even on, I mean, fuck, I named my cat after one of those songs. And I think that, like, the lyric that sticks out to me the most from that record is when I was 17, I wrote a song about how I was drinking kerosene. Like, they're even
yeah,
going back to their own mythos that they have created, and they're kind of re-examining their place in pop punk because they are the elder statesmen at this point.
yes, yeah, 100%. And like it's also not easy to exist that long in the musical scene and to continue writing songs, right? And like how many angry records can you make before people like do get tired of it, before they do like feel like the fatigue of that, right? Because like again, like we can't like I just don't think it's healthy to be in that state of mind both as the creator but also as the listener all the time, right?
That's why I've
Um
switched to hip hop. Like it is way
yeah.
easier to like get kind of your point across without being necessarily angry in and that volatile state in hip hop than it is in pop punk, to be sure.
it's
Yeah.
interesting for me. I know that my musical tastes don't always go towards full like I wouldn't call myself like a diehard emo fan. I
Hmm.
tend to stay more towards like deathcore or like just death metal in general, and like the one that comes to mind is Opeth. Like I will not stop talking about Opeth, but there are so many songs that they have about loss, and in their later years, like they start like My Arms Your Hearse is just a record about loss. Like that's all it fucking is.
Mm.
And as they went through the years and evolved, like Michael Ackerfeld talks a lot about how his kids became a focal songwriting point and his family became
Yeah.
a songwriting point. And like on some of their later albums like Heritage and Pale Communion, like you've got a lot of good stuff that ties into that. And I really think it's interesting to see that evolution. And kind of on the flip side of it, their last album, The Last Will and Testament, is entirely about loss. Like
Mm.
it's a fictional loss, but
Right.
like it's interesting to see them doing it after having that. Like it feels like a full cycle almost. Like
Mm-hmm.
they've gone
Yeah.
from reminiscing on death and thinking about it and letting that channel them just to family, right back to death. Um, it's interesting to see kind of both sides of it.
I'm wondering, because of that being the theme of the EP, like more of the love and less of the anger coming through. I'm wondering if that's why 912 didn't make it onto the EP, because you were talking about like that anger of being that suburban brown kid, and that is 912 is
Hmm.
one of the most powerful songs that I think you guys have, but I also totally get why it didn't end up on the EP as a result.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is also that we just hadn't written it yet. Like we hadn't recorded, had it fleshed out. But I think like also like we'll like we like I do want to say that we will be a band that will talk about anger and rage for sure. Like, I think that like on the next CP we're writing right now, like we have like songs like, Broken Fist and a Boxing Glove, which are very, pointedly saying like we have to stop letting children get killed by guns. We have to stop, you know, like just using anger and violence and death as our means of like propagating the news and of moving the world forward. But I think that like in terms of anger towards the personal, like the relationship, like I don't know. I think we need to just think more about like how can we better ourselves and better be partners for other people.
That's also why
Especially
the last
romantically.
Story So Far record was kind of mid.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think that it was like a very I know that people weren't as fond of it for its mix and everything like that, but I think lyrically that was a very powerful record, like the passing of his dad. I'm like that shit happens, right? I mean, like life happens. Like tomorrow, like today we're here, tomorrow we're gone. And so like I think that like when we are unable to like also like celebrate that and then have to mourn it, it's difficult. It's like because I would also like no one wants to also sit with that a lot, sitting with grief and sitting with like your own insecurities is really difficult in a way that's like really honest, right? You can like there's so many bands out there that write really good about like very surface level insecurities, like oh, like I'm a piece of shit, I drink too much, or like I'm sorry, I made you mad, right? But it's
I've
hard to
been to
say like
Dangwimmer festivals before. I've been to Welcome to Rockville. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but like I think it's like it's a little more terrifying to sit down and be like, I have a tendency to like ruin things that are good because of my own ego, or like I'm afraid to like really dive into this because it means a commitment in the long term, and I'm not ready for that and stuff like that. And again, like I'll reference like Arm's Length, like I think like that's why they're really hitting hard because like they're pretty bluntly talking about some like really dark, heavy, and deep topics, and I think that's like I mean, for me, it's part of why, like, when I was a kid, I enjoyed Fall Out Boy so much because, like, I had never heard a band do stuff like that before. Um, and so just having like a band that like was very open about like mental health and like anger and stuff, even though it is some of that cliche stuff we've talked about. I just really enjoyed that like that I was like hearing someone talk about that like, growing up in a house that didn't talk about mental health growing up. But yeah, I don't know. I think that like there will still be anger and rage and stuff coming from the band. Like we're gonna write some happy stuff if we want to, but that's the fun of Ten Month Summer. Like you're gonna get whatever we're feeling kind of in that moment to release. Also, like I'll say it here. A little secret that we haven't told anybody yet is that a lot of our plans have been pushed back a little bit because our drummer fractured his wrist, and so he can't record drums right now, and he's getting married next month. So we've been a little busy trying to figure out how to still play a set at his wedding with his wrist being, all messed up, but to, I guess, satiate the need of creation and also like give people something back. We're working on like an acoustic lo-fi EP right now to put out later this summer, maybe early in the fall. Tentatively titled Midwestern Haikus. We'll see, but it's going to be a
That's
lot more
fucking
like
That's
good.
sick as hell.
That's a
I'm
real. That's
I'm
so
pretty
fucking
I'm
good.
pretty excited for it. But I think it's going to be kind of almost like a summer continuation of Fate Lines, and that like it's going to talk a lot about just like you know simplicity and beauty. I've always loved the haiku, not even just like the 575, but like when I was studying poetry in grad school, like the idea of like a haiku being like a still frame of a moment taken, almost like this like breath in nature you can't capture and try to put it down real quick on a page. I think it'll be a pretty brief EP, 4 or 5 songs max. They'll be very sparse and simple, but they're gonna hopefully tell a bit more of these stories about like love and connection. And then, maybe late fall, early winter, depending on how fast Luke gets back, we'll put out some more of that like more sad emo Midwest shit for EP2. But that's like kind of what the plans are right now. So you're the first to hear it that we're working on this like secret EP to compensate for the fact that our drummer is currently injured. We're wishing Luke a very, very speedy recovery because
We
that
appreciate
sucks that he
getting
can't play this
we
instrument.
appreciate getting the scoop on here. Listen, if you're gonna do an acoustic version of fucking Destiny Bond, I've got that verse still. You let me know and I'll hop on that shit like immediately.
I think we're writing some new tracks for it, but I think
Hell yeah.
it'll be maybe we look at like, if we want to do some like fun stuff with Destiny Bond, we can do a little release or something for the 1 year anniversary of it coming out. We can see what we can do with that. I would love to maybe like put it on like Bandcamp, have it cost like just $2 and all the proceeds go to maybe like, DIY HRT for, folks in the South who can't get it, or like something like, whatever we can do to like make our shit help other people. That's like the goal, right? But yeah, we could
That's
definitely chat
another
about that.
that's another thing that we appreciate so much about Tenmo, and that I've appreciated so much about knowing you. Like, you put on the dolls so fucking heavy. Like, I know for a fact, I'm gonna probably get shot for saying this. She doesn't watch the fucking show. Maud wouldn't be making music still if not for you guys. That's a fact that I know for sure.
No
Thanks,
way,
man.
that's
That's so
crazy. I mean,
sweet.
Maud's so talented. She should never not make music. She's so
That's
good.
what I'm saying.
Just going to text her that you said that real quick.
You have her number?
No, I don't.
I didn't fucking think so. Fucking
But your phone is right here open, so I couldn't
son of
do
a
it.
bitch.
I mean, also like I have to like shout out Maud too. I mean, like Maud helped us get into a lot of cool things early on, in the career of the band. I know that her and Sam like got to be pretty buddy at the beginning, and then she's become very beloved to all Tenmo in general. And I mean, that's how we got connected with you too. And I mean, Maud got us into playing emo night, which is really cool. Put us in front of a lot of people who probably wouldn't have seen Tenmo otherwise. And so I think just like though we have some minority identities in this band, we are still majority like cis men. So like I think it's our job to like use the platforms that we get to because of our privilege to like help the other people out, right? It's if we're not doing that, then like kind of what's the point? There's enough straight dudes whining in the scene. So I think that's another reason too that like I thought it was important to write a record that wasn't just like bashing women. I was like a straight dude, just like, hey, like we are the problem 99.99% of the time. So like let's maybe write some stuff that celebrates, the other genders and identities out there.
I want to talk about that emo night set that you guys played. You were fantastic. I still have the poster from that night up behind
Hell yeah.
the big TV that's up over there. I want to talk. Y'all's set was fantastic. I want to talk about your reaction to Fecto Glenn, who played that set with you, because I know I was like standing with Dean and Maud during their set, and it was already killer when they pulled out Thank You for the Venom, which that was
Yeah.
already intense. But
Seeing that at the Split Jaw debut was
absolutely. But
yeah.
but then Fecto Glenn, they say that they're gonna do a Paramore cover, and we're all thinking, oh, it's gonna be like Misery Business or like Decode or something. And then you
Yeah.
hear the beginning notes of All I Wanted, and we're all
Yeah.
just like, oh, they're gonna go for that shit. Okay, let's see how
Yes.
they go. And
Yes.
then they murder All I
Like
Wanted, the song that Haley Williams
like
was too scared to sing for 10 fucking years because she was afraid that
yeah.
she wasn't gonna be able to hit those notes.
Shout out Facta Glenn. I mean, like that is not like in general, even the easiest Paramore cover is still hard for, an average singer. Like myself included, like I can't do half that shit, right? And like to do a Paramore cover at all, you're brave, you're talented, I respect you. To do that in front of a crowd of basically people who are there for like who like know this shit, who are entrenched in like the olden days of the emo pop punk scene of the 2000s, the Fuel by Ramen era, to then say, here's my bat, throw me a pitch, watch me knock out of the park. Legendary shit. Fecto Glenn forever. They've
Let's
been
not
quiet for a
act
bit. I
though
think
like
they're
emo
working.
night isn't for the kids who were bullying the emo kids in high school.
That's
Let's not
also okay, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, there's certainly, like they're like the people that are going to emo night are not the ones also showing up at like like excuse me, who are you, Red Sun gigs, right? They're the folks who are like still, possibly maybe going to all-time low, unfortunately, or like somewhat happy the brand new is back. But like there's still a half that like hopefully can respect the world a little bit. But I don't know. I care less about the audience in that situation and care more about the fact that Glenn said like they like Steph Curry that shit. Shot the three, looked back, knew it was going in. I was just like that was so impressive. I was like, holy shit, what a cover. Like pitch perfect, I think. It was awesome.
That is a song that is so hard to do. Like I obviously don't have the highest pitch voice. It is hard to do even down a couple of keys. Like
Oh yeah.
it
I have
Paramore.
to shriek when I have to go into like full like Danny Filth like fucking shrieks whenever I'm singing along to that one.
Paramore is a
Yeah.
band that's hard to play on Rock Band, and covering
Yeah.
it is like that. Like, holy
Hmm.
shit!
I want to
Yeah.
talking about like connecting with the audience and stuff. You guys, I've been in the Discord for you guys since day one. The Discord is really into. We'll get to that for
Yeah.
sure. But I think that the Discord is so interesting because it used to be like it went from email lists to like MySpace pages and then Facebook pages, and now it seems like Discord is really the place where people are being able to connect with bands.
Discord's for the dolls and the emos.
Facts. Like I'm in
True.
Damages Discord, I'm in fucking the DIY Discord, I'm in the Summer Brews Discord. I'm obviously in your guys' Discord, which is where a funny thing happened for Scarlett.
So, I had a friend who I hadn't talked to in a little bit. We just kind of grew apart for a little while, and I got a text from her after I was on the show last time. Turns out she found y'all. Her name is Emmy, or Emily,
Oh, cool.
as
Yeah.
everyone else knows her. Yeah, and we've been friends for a minute, and she just reached out, is like, why are you in the Tenmo disc? Why is that a picture of you in there? And then she told me that she was doing merch for y'all for a show.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like her and Mar and me who have done merch for Tenmo.
So like just
Yeah.
a crazy little connection through the Tenmo.
Oh, that's so cool.
Discord.
But that
Yeah.
even goes
Hell yeah.
that goes to show the point of that, like that is how people are connecting through the band and connecting to each other even more because of the band.
Yeah. I love the Discord a lot. I mean, like, you know, I really wanted it to not be like just like an email list, you know. I didn't want it to be a place to like almost like cheat people out of like, you know, it's like oh, join the Discord and then we'll never talk to you and only ping you when we have a show or want you to buy something or you know what I mean? Like, you know, that feels like and I know that bands gotta do what they gotta do, you know, but to me it feels cheap, you know. Like I think like, you know, like I joined the Fall Boy Discord when they first launched it and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. I get to be with a bunch of Fall Boy fans. And just like, oh no, this is just like a forum kind of and like it's, you know, for a 30-year-old man, I don't think I need to be in that spape, you know. I think that's for other younger fans to like really interact and, you know, exist and have fun.
It's for the
But like when we
fans
started
who
the
got
Discord, I was
Mania
just
when
like,
it first came out. Who like understood
yeah.
Mania, which I had to come around to. Like Mania's got a decent amount of good songs.
I
on
thought you just meant the ones who bought Mania when it first came out.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
like,
you meant like
whoa, okay.
the teeny boppers. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, first also true though. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I would like to say we're pretty active. Obviously, like we have our own personal lives and things going on, so we can't always just be at the computers, you know. But at least like we, like, you know, I try to check it minimum like twice a day, if not three times a day, and try to like chat in there. You know, I'd love for it to like grow a bit bigger in the sense of like, you know, host like more game nights and stuff like that. And you know, that's on me to get it more organized for sure. But I think we've done some cool stuff in there. You know, we've done like merch giveaways. We've done, you know, we've like done voting on, you know, like when we made the Tenmo hats, people got to vote in the color. You know, probably have another vote soon for some more merch coming up. We're leaking lyrics, we're leaking shows, we're leaking, you know, snippets of demos, we're leaking songs early of ours in there.
You got the
And I think
Tenmo
it's just like a
Tuesday
nice,
thing where you're like putting up the polls and
yeah,
like shouting out other bands. Like you shouted out Kerosene Heights today as we're recording this, who I'm super stoked
yes,
to see for
yeah.
the first time at
Every
Faux next month.
there. I'm so upset that we haven't, you know, another secret. We haven't announced this yet, but the same day that they're in town, July 20th, we're actually opening for Daisy Head on their 10-year tour with Potion Cellar and Stay Inside and Bouquet. And
That's
so,
huge, dude.
I'm really bummed. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited for it. I'm just bummed to miss Carson Heights because I think they've become like one of my favorite bands in DIY right now. I something about Chance's voice and lyrics really speak to me when I got to talk to them at the Arcadia Gray show a couple weeks ago. They were just like a really sweet person. But yeah, excited to open for Daisy Head. I saw them, you know, 10 years ago when this record first came out in Champaign-Urbana in a tiny ass room. And so this is kind of a dream
Scarlett
come true
just had a
to run it
fucking
back
chill run
around.
down her spine when the name Champaign-Urbana was fucking said.
Yeah, UIUC, what do you know?
UIUC, baby. UIC right here. I gotta love that broken ass system. Fuck you, Tim Colleen. I still have not had a graduation.
Yeah, yeah. They're not the best at doing what they're supposed to be doing with all the thousands of dollars they get from their constituents.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
they have not had a good track record.
No, not at all. But yeah, every Tuesday, for anyone that doesn't know, in the Tenmo Discord, we run a poll basically of just like any kind of like silly things versus, like peanut butter versus jelly question mark. Or like today we asked like what's your favorite pasta shape? But also on that Tuesday, I will ping everyone in the Discord. Right now we're 200 people deep, and I like, try to put on smaller bands for sure, but also if a band hasn't released, I'll say, hey, listen to this band this week, give them some love. But we try our best to like get people, some extra listeners, some extra streams coming, from here and there. You never know. And then we also have in the Tenmo Discord a channel called Community Recs where anyone in the Discord can like, recommend a song, doesn't matter what genre, doesn't matter who it is, and we'll put it on a playlist. And that playlist also exists on our Spotify profile, so you can see like what people in the Discord are listening to, and like hopefully, we don't have a ton of listeners on Spotify, but like maybe it's enough that someone else might find someone new. And if we can be a catalyst, someone finds someone else, that's great. Like our main goal is not to ever, put ourselves first. Our main goal is to say like, hey, it's cool to get to do music. It's a privilege. And if someone else can find another band through us, or if we can use our music to help somebody else, that's really cool. Like that's what this is about. And that's the only impetus for us wanting to grow. Really, is like the bigger we can get. I think I would like to say our hearts are in the right place, and hopefully we can use that to propel others and bring them up with us as we make our way through the world. Because we have to do it together. It has to be hand in hand. It can't be back to back.
I think that's one of my favorite things about like modern day messaging platforms is that like it even if it's like there's so much more opportunity like with phones now to just pull out your phone, send a quick message in a Discord, and pop off. Like it's not like
Hmm.
you have to sit down and think out what you're gonna put in like a mailing list letter, or it
Yeah.
can literally just be peanut butter or jelly, and like that's interaction.
Yes.
That's some kind of connection that
100%.
a lot of the bigger places, like I'm definitely not in a lot of band discords, but I'm in a lot of like streamer discords and YouTuber discords,
For
and
sure.
it's really disappointing when I join. Like it's great to have a community, it's great to have people that I can talk to and connect with, but I'm not joining to connect with those people. I'm joining to connect with them and the creator of the content, because that's what I'm here
Yeah.
for. I'm
Hmm.
I'm here mainly because that's what brought me to it, and it's nice to see like people actually trying to. What the fuck are you
Dude,
doing?
I like saw that shadow in the back of my head. I was like, oh, up to no good.
Buddy, why must you do this? Why, Wyatt? While angrily twisting as if
uh-huh.
he's done nothing wrong.
Speaking
He's
of
like,
cats, real quick, can we see the new kitty?
I think he's with Mar right now. We're also watching our friend's cat, and so they're like keeping their own spaces.
For sure.
And I think I've also shut the door so that he couldn't. He's kind of a menace right now. Around this hour, he like gets to zoomies and he gets a little crazy.
For
Um,
sure.
but you know, I made him a TikTok. Me and Mar are running a cat TikTok. That's my life now. So,
Beautiful.
you can you can go find him there. I guess he is
Now that's your
in.
core, baby.
He's in 3 days of existing on TikTok. He's outperformed the 10 month TikTok. I'm just like, all right,
You
what
gotta
are you
start
supposed to do with
tagging
that?
y'all. You
You
gotta
gotta
start
start
tagging your
tagging y'all. You
band
gotta
in
start
the
using
So this
using
is
the
so this
music
is
as the audio.
yes, this is my secret. I'm gonna get in the random crowd, slip in some emo songs here and there, and suddenly he becomes the mascot for 10 months summer. He doesn't know it yet
Yes.
because he's just a baby and doesn't speak English, but it's happening.
As soon
Um,
as I get that Riot Fest press pass one of these days, the Wyatt Fest shirts will be coming. I assure you
hell
of that
yeah.
shit.
Oh,
Before we get into the bit of the thing, first of all, we want to also going back to you guys putting everything on. I feel like that's like that's the reason why Bummer Summer exists at this point. Bummer Summer
Yes.
happened last year and it's happening again this year with fucking Split Jaw and Ghoul for a Goblin and a bunch of other fucking like killer bands. I know that that is
Yes.
something that is super important to you, is making sure that everybody gets a seat at the table through Bummer Summer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm I'm really excited that we get to run it again. It's like such a privilege to like be able to have faith in have some good faith from the venue to run it back from kickstand, shout out Bridget, who's also an Okay Cool, who's putting out a new record this year. They make great music, and Bridget has been really awesome. She's helped us a lot with like getting onto gigs, booking stuff. Kickstand has been a great partner to this band since the get-go. And yeah, Bummer Summer 2 happening June 28th. It's the same weekend as Pugfest, which I didn't mean to do it, but it's the only weekend we could find in June. I was trying to avoid Coachella, so like giving your take.
And then you couldn't play Coachella because Luke's getting married.
That's also correct. Yes. Yeah. Luke is out there living
no
his
one's playing
life, and I
Coachella
can
anymore.
imagine.
It's faux now.
That's true. Yeah. It is faux. No Cella. AEG. You're a piece of shit.
Have you heard
Yeah.
about
It's
this?
faux now.
I've heard about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy work. But yeah, Bummer Summer 2 is happening, and again, it's really like trying to put forward bands that are smaller, sounds of headliners who like, the give and take is that we try to get a couple big bands on it so that like they can bring the draw and have the other bands not worry too much about it. And it was tough to get some headliners this year. I'll be frank, like I was just dealing with a lot of like management emails or like like booking agents who are like, well, like what's the guarantee? And I'm like, this is a DIY festival trying to work on a Chicago level scale. Like there is no guarantee. Like we're like bands made money last year. All the bands did. But like the goal is not to make money. The goal is to let these bands who don't usually get a chance to play these rooms play these rooms. And a lot of times they don't get a chance to play these rooms because they're either quote unquote not big enough. And why are they not big enough? Possibly because they're not just full of, cis white guys. So we've got trans folks on the bill, we've got, ladies on the bill, we got people of color on the bill. We have a lot of just varied identities, and I'm really excited to like just like have all of that like come together in a city I love, in a state I love. B Kitchen is a great room. So if you're free, you should come through. It's going to be a really good time. Headlining with us is Wilmette this year, which is like crazy to me because I was listening to them like 5 years ago, being like, hell yeah, like these people fucking rock. So to get to open, play a show with them is sick. And also they're on the Fall Out Boy cover comp we just put out with our label, which is nuts. I didn't even realize that until Joe gave us all the information. I was like, holy crap, like Wilmette's on this, and their cover is awesome. The drums sound huge. And that cover right now is not on the comp album is not yet on streaming, but it is on Bandcamp. And also all proceeds for that go to the PCRF. The genocide in Palestine and Gaza is not done yet. It is still continuing. The empire of Israel is still at large. And so please do not stop looking, and please do not stop talking about it. Please do not stop giving your money, energy, and time, whether it's protests, whether it's, whatever you have to do, any little bit still counts as something. It's better than just saying, I can't do anything about it, and then letting children get blown to bits by imperialism and US dollars.
And can we just emphatically say, as a former ultra-Orthodox Jewish girly, saying that the state of Israel and the people who run it and the choices that they make are bad is not saying that Jewish people are bad.
It's true.
Just
correct.
Coming from two Jewish broads over here.
Not to say that
y'all missed a spit take from Nish that we got from him. That's fucking fantastic.
Not to say that anyone watching this thinks any way otherwise, but just because this is my third time putting myself publicly out there on the internet, just want to say, fuck you, Israel. Love Jewish people. Love myself.
That's nice to hear you say.
On the episode talking about nothing but emo shit. Yeah,
yeah.
I love myself. Setting the tone for the record. Yeah.
Going back, like that's the last thing that I wanted to ask y'all about. Y'all going back to one of the bands that y'all are helping to put on, and y'all have helped to play bigger rooms, which is Bottom Bunk. Joe from Bottom Bunk, shout out Righteous Anger Records, which y'all are signed to. They are putting out really soon the 20th anniversary Fall Out Boy from Under the Cork Tree cover comp, which you guys are on doing. Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner, one of my favorite Fall Out Boy songs. Talk about.
Same.
Yeah, that song is just killer. Talk about the process of Joe asking y'all to be on that, and also just Righteous Anger in general, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's incredible. It's a one-person label trying to do a lot, and they Righteous Anger was recently on Five at the Door, which is the podcast by Christy from 95 Corolla, and was talking about how our partnership is, very much kind of like that. We work in tandem on some things, and also like we're pretty independent as a band. Like I've been around doing music for too long at this point. And so like there's a lot of opportunities and things that I can kind of like figure out how to email my way into. And also like I work from home, so I'm always on my computer. And unfortunately we have to work to live in this capitalist society and make dollars. And so Joe has a job that keeps him away from the computer a lot, which is like totally fine. We have no complaints being on RA. They have done such an amazing job getting us, a lot of opportunities, a lot of connections. And so when they were putting this together, it was a no-brainer. Joe was like, which song do you want to do? And at the time, I think nobody had been taken. So we were supposed to do, I Slept with Someone and Fall Out Boy and All I Got Was This Stupid Song About Me. But then I think someone drops, and then I was like, can we switch to Nobody Puts Baby in the Corner? Like, that's like my favorite Fall Out Boy song off this record. And Joe's like, yeah, for sure. Like of course. But they're going to be doing some big things, look out later this year. I think band number two is on the way to being signed, which is pretty exciting. We do know them and they're awesome. Y'all not be surprised when that gets announced. I don't want to put Joe's news out there. I don't want to leak too much. But what I can leak is that we've also officially just sent Fate Lines to press for vinyl in conjunction with Oakley Avenue Records, which they work with Cool for Goblin as well. So through RA and Oakley Avenue, we are going to get Fate Lines vinyl. It's going to be awesome. Because we're doing it, ourselves, it's going to be a little more pricey than I wish it would be because all the stupid fucking tariffs and shit. So we know we're charging a bit more for an EP, but I promise you none of it. Like we'll like in our Discord too, we have a channel for money math. It's literally called like money maths. And like I go through and show like here's what we've paid out of pocket for stuff. Here's the margins. Here's what we're asking you to pay. Here's what we get out of it. And like everything is transparent. Like we are not a band trying to make a ton of cash off our fans and our friends. We are really just trying to make some stuff. And if we can get it, at cost, maybe make like $1 or $2, that's always great. But it'll be a nice vinyl though. It'll be cool inserts. It's gonna be purple, a transparent purple with some like purple splatter on it. So I'm pretty excited for what it's gonna turn out to be. But yeah, Righteous Anger is a shit. Joe is a shit. Joe is also working really hard to get us into a Chili's because Joe used to work at Chili's a couple years ago. So
what the fuck
yeah,
is up, Chili's?
that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to run it. We're trying to run a Denny style in a Chili's. So Chili's, if you're watching this, please respond to my DMs, TikToks, etc. Because I'm burning out on ideas. I'm an old fart. I'm trying my best, but I'm not a social media manager. I'm just a man. So please, Chili's.
We're glad to know that Righteous Anger is doing better than some DIY labels. Big money cyber grind. Anyway, we were talking about Fall Out Boy. From Under the Cork Tree just had its 20th anniversary. A couple of years ago, another Fall Out Boy album had its 20th anniversary. It turns 22 this year. That is Take This to Your Grave, their debut on Fueled by Ramen. We are going to be ranking every song on Take This to Your Grave. We will be right back with more of the Cuddlepunk Podcast. Welcome back to the Cuddlepunk Podcast. We are here with Scarlett as co-host, and we are here with Nish from 10-Month-Summer. One of the most instrumental bands to not only 10-Month-Summer, but also the entire Chicago scene and the entire pop punk scene is obviously Fall Out Boy. We talked about Fall Out Boy a lot with Dean from Splitjaw a couple of months ago when we did the Fall Out Boy bracket. But Dean has a little thing that I know y'all were roasting him in the comments for, which is his dismissal of Take This to Your Grave, their debut on Fueled by Ramen.
Oh shit, that's what we're doing? Dude, I prepped Tubular Bells. I don't know what the fuck. I was ready to. No, I have it.
You have. She has it.
I had to throw a prog reference in there at some point. I have one in every episode. I had to have one.
You chose the fucking 19-minute song from fucking The Exorcist.
Baby, it's longer than 19
You're
minutes.
so right.
I have it on vinyl. I'm well aware it's longer than 19 minutes.
Before we get into it, what is your relationship with Take This to Your Grave?
How do I describe it? It's like, I think it's the first piece of like non-Bengali music I can remember hearing in my life. I was just like so fascinated to hear guitars and not like harmoniums and like the tabla, which is like a good drum that we use in South Asia. And I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then like also like I was listening. I had heard it like right when I like my mental disorders were first like showing themselves. Like when I was like first feeling like really anxious and depressed, and I was like, I'm seven. Why am I upset? Why do I want to die? Um, and I was having a lot of anxiety. Like I think like the beginnings of my prefrontal cortex were starting to develop, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a rough mental ride down the line. And then I heard this record because my babysitter showed it to me, and I thought it was incredible. I thought it was so good. And truthfully, like I couldn't access it much a lot. The one I got to listen to more was from the Core Tree. It's the first album I ever had on CD. But then I think, 05, '06 is like when YouTube was starting to pop off, and I just got the family computer, got to access the internet for the first time, and so then I got to really get into Take This to Your Grave because I knew about the record. I didn't have a physical of it. And I was like, yeah, this shit, like, still bangs, like my child brain still remembered it, and it really just stuck. I just thought there was so much interesting stuff happening on this, and also like I'm gonna say right now, like this is gonna be, I know we're gonna rank the songs, but like there's not a single skip on this album for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there some like lower hits for sure? Yeah, but there's not a single miss for me. Like I have some skips I think on every other Fall Boy record in perpetuity, and I love every Fall Boy record a lot. But this one I can listen to it front to back. It's a solid 40 minutes, and I'm living good.
I think kind of on the flip side of it, I literally listened to it in full for the first time last week, and like I had obviously heard, some of the bigger ones like Grand Theft Autumn. I've heard that God knows how many times, but
Yeah,
I like when I listened to it, I was like really amazed at how nostalgic I got for an album I never heard and a year that I
mm,
was 6 in. Like
hmm,
it's crazy how much it instantly takes you back to the early 2000s.
yeah,
Like that's the one thing that stood out to me, and I was telling V before we started recording that like I have songs on this that I put low only because that was the last place on the ranking that I
yeah,
had open. Like
for sure.
I don't think there is a single song on here that I would willingly axe from the list. I would be
For
okay
sure.
with some of them going, but like
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't pick any of them to go.
We've
yeah,
done we've done rankings like this before where I've let people kind of just do their own rankings. We've done stuff where we've figured it out together. We've all got our, I think, rankings done right now individually. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come together basically and go through from 12 to 1 and just figure out where our individual rankings go from there. Like not our
yeah.
individual, but as a total, where our rankings go from there. And to start that off, we are going to start at number 12, where.
Okay, good. I got the right number of songs.
Good.
Cool. It's not 2, and it's not written by Mike Oldfield. That's
No, it's
good.
not.
Got it. Okay.
The song that I have at number 12, it's controversial. My number 12 on Take This to Your Grave is Grand Theft Autumn.
Which hurt.
Like the lowest?
The lowest.
That's
For me,
that's
Yeah, no.
crazy.
for me it is over.
It's right up there with her
I
Chance
gotta
the Rapper
go.
the New Day take.
It's the big day, excuse you.
Does it fucking matter? It's a bad album.
April from Pink Squeeze likes that album.
That doesn't make it a good album. I hate to break it to you, honey.
Are you defacing Pink Squeeze in my good Christian home?
No, I'm defacing Chance the Rapper in your good Christian home.
He'd be more mad.
Good.
Yeah,
It's
true.
a bad album. He deserves to know it.
But now, Grand Theft Autumn, it's a song that I love, but it is a song that I have heard overplayed way too much, and I
Wow.
wouldn't even say I say it as one of Fall Out Boy's like best singles, at least to me personally, and to see it like put up as one of their best, one of the ones that they have to play every single show is just it's. I get it for sure, but there are other songs that is
That's
the
crazy.
song that I would probably be fine with listening to the least out of any of the
Oh
songs on the
man.
record.
So again, you've hurt me.
Yes.
You've
Name
heard
y'all's
many.
names y'all number 12s.
Um, that's hard. I think I was more ready to go top to bottom, but I think I'm gonna go with the pros and cons of breathing as my least favorite on this one.
I
Uh,
could be fine
in
with that
that
because that's my number 11.
in that like I don't think it's bad. I think that I think for someone who is in their late teens, early 20s that just went through a breakup, this song will get you through at least 3 months of damage. You won't repair. It's just homeostasis. Um, but I think now at this age, like I just can't relate to a lot of it. But I will say, like mo one of my favorite things about this record through and through is like there's no one who can like so clichély yet so interestingly write heartbreak like Pete Wentz does.
Pete Wentz is a petty little bitch, and we love him for it.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to hate you half as much as I hate myself. Like if you're in the emo band and say that you don't fuck with Fall Out Boy, shut the fuck up. You've never written anything close to as cringe as that is also so real. And if you are writing stuff like that, then you owe it to this. You owe it to this record right here. Like people that are like too good for Fall Out Boy drive me crazy. I'm just like, sure, okay. You probably think you're cool for not liking pop music too. Great. Cool. You drink IPAs and you sit in the corner of a bar. Awesome. I don't know. Like even though this is my lowest like song on this record because every other song is a banger, like this song still hits. It just like I think it's also like musically like a little more repetitive for me. Like it just like it doesn't go like the range isn't as fun for me when I listen to it. It's kind of just it hits one note, which is what I'm going to say about the next song too. But yeah, that's my number 12.
So I want to start my list with another disclaimer. Again, I listened to this for the first time like a week ago. I don't have internet at home right now, so I don't have the luxury of pulling up lyrics. I'm going purely sonically here.
That's fine.
I pulled a lot of lyrics. It is definitely hard to pull lyrics with the early 2000s emo voice
Yeah.
that Patrick Stubb has. But I pulled a couple. My 12 is Calm Before the Storm. It's really the only
Mm,
one that I heard that I was kind of like, all right, it's a good song. I love the
yeah.
breakdown in it. It just doesn't like it's the only one on the list that while listening to it I thought, yeah, I could leave this song.
You
I
mean you
could
didn't love the line "He's well hung and I'm hanging on"?
that okay, so real talk, that was gonna put it higher up on the list. That line was because every time I heard the song, it's the line I was expecting. Like
Yeah.
it just to have a song stand out because you call another guy you're jealous of well hung is
Yeah.
it's
We see you, Pete.
we see you, Pete. We love our small kings. But
Proof.
Well, actually, fun fact, the "Call Me for the Storm," the lyrics were written by Patrick Stump.
That kind of checks. That checks actually.
yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We've
So
named my
this was
bottom three. We've named my bottom three of
Really?
Grand Theft Autumn at the bottom, then Pros and Cons of Breathing, then Calm Before the Storm. I'm totally
that's
fine putting Pros and Cons of Breathing at our number 12.
I'm pretty close on the bottom three. Calling for the Storm is also down there for me. One because I actually like the version of it on Eating Out with Your Girlfriend better. It was just a little
Oh, for
rougher.
sure.
They like redid it a bit. It was like totally fine. But yeah, it just goes on a bit too long sonically as well. Like it's a great track, but I think if it held to how long is this track? It's 4.5 minutes. I think like it's by and above the longest song on the album. I think if it was 3.5, it would sit a lot well. Or if it was the last song maybe on the album, it could maybe hold that. But I think it just like it didn't need to be so long. But yeah, pros and cons of breathing, calling for the storm, and then my 10th is reinventing the wheel to run myself over.
That was my 11th, yeah.
That one
Yeah,
I had a
uh,
lot. That one I had higher, honestly, but I'm glad. I think we can agree with Pros and Cons and Breathing at number 12, and then Calm Before the Storm at number 11. I think my thing
yeah,
with Calm Before the Storm is that it's thin. It's very very thin.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yep,
I think to move into my 11 reinventing the
Yeah.
wheel, like the problem that I had with it is it just sounded too generic pop punk. Like it
yes,
sounded what my mom thinks of when I tell her that I listen to pop punk. Like it
hmm
for how many songs on here stand out for lyrics, for instrumentation, for the whole shebang? Like this one just kind of fell a little flat in terms of something new to listen to.
Yeah. Well, what you'll also come to realize, so this is the first record where Pete started taking over more of the lyricism.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my boy Pete Stump. He's just this little soft baby. But he wrote the lyrics to this one too. And so you kind of see that there's not a lot of that like the you know the the foot on the gas for the lyrics, a lot of it's coming from Pete. And you a lot of people don't realize it, but just naturally you kind of like listen to songs like, oh yeah, like I'm kind of not liking the Pete Stump lyrics as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is another one where, I think his voice is awesome, but there's just a lot of that repetitiveness and that, having that classic Patrick Stump whoa in the chorus.
Yeah.
He loves his crooning, you know what I
He
mean?
loves his
Yeah.
So
whoa-ohs.
um yeah, he loves his woes. I made Mars sit through a 9-minute Patrick Stump all woes compilation once, and
Yes.
she didn't break up with me. So I think that's when I knew I like after proposed to her. Um,
And that's
but
why you
yeah,
wrote Fate Lines.
and that's why I wrote Fate Lines, correct. But
I'm
yeah,
fine with having
reinventing.
reinventing the wheel be at number. I'm fine with that being at number 10.
Okay,
Number 9, I had Dead on Arrival.
I've had that for my 10. Yeah.
interesting.
It's good, but it's not
Ooh,
for me, it's like it just barely broke into the top 10. It was really hard to pick those last three.
My thing with the songs that I put at the bottom is that they feel primitive a lot of the time. Like it
hmm,
feels like they're still in their figuring it out stage, and I think that's where Dead on Arrival comes in for me. Like it is Dead on Arrival is one of the few Fall Out Boy songs where like that could be any band.
Yeah.
That could be a cartel song. That could be
that's true. Yeah, I yeah, I could give you that. I was between that and Grenade Jumper. Um, which I know people are gonna be mad at me for, but
I think you've just found out V's number one pick.
it's not my
Judging,
number one.
really, but judging by your reaction, I thought
No,
I,
Grenade Jumper is like for a long time I could call that my favorite Fall Out Boy song.
that's
That one
fair. It
that
it
one's
it
that
was
one's personal to me because like as somebody who is trying to like put like the whole point of this show as much is the same as you guys doing Bummer Summer, like it is trying to put on my homies and trying to like talking about like the people who make it out to like every show and stuff like that.
yeah.
I related to, which is probably not the best thing in the world to say that I relate to Hey Chris, but
I'm honestly just kind of happy that I've been sticking with with y'all's rankings on this.
for
I thought
sure
it was going to be wildly different from the get-go.
I think if both
I
of
can
us
I can meet you at Dead on Arrival. I can meet you there.
all right,
Yeah.
sick. Number 8 for me was Homesick at Space Camp. It
Yeah.
it's a middle of the album. It is a middle of the album song for a reason, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
it,
Like almost like a little too I'm gonna say poppy, which I don't think pop music is bad by any means. I love that pop shit. But I think for what this record was like for the way that pop punk hits on this record, I think that this took a little bit off the gas. It was a little too like I think Homesick at Space Camp was kind of almost like a prophetic preview of what one of the Cork Tree is going to be like, but it wasn't polished and wasn't thought through and didn't have I mean, this record was written so fucking fast, so like they didn't have the
yeah.
time to like really make it what it is. I
Maybe
love the
even on this
concept of it.
record, I think that they
He
didn't
he
they
is.
get. He is okay.
This is the first record that he's on completely. It was they had Andy for part of Any Other Girlfriend, and then after the Project Rocket split, Andy came on full time. Um, but yeah, I just think like there's just like I don't know, like the bridge and outro, like yeah, we miss you. Okay, cool.
For sure.
Uh, it's like too generic. Whereas like Grenade Jumper is like more specific to Chris, to a scene, to like people. I think that's more accessible, even though it is more specific to a person. I think that like yeah, I'm with you here.
And the
I could
way
put
that
this.
for me, for Grenade Jumper specifically, I say that I know I just talked about Den on Rivals sounding like it could be from any other band. I say this is a massive compliment when I say that Grenade Jumper sounds like a Rise Against song. Like you can
Yeah,
tell that they were like playing the same venues as Rise Against because I saw when Fall Out Boy headlined Wrigley for the first time. Rise Against was when Fall Out Boy headlined Wrigley for the first time. Rise Against was one of the openers, which is crazy to think of them like playing the same venues over and over again.
God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, like, uh, Rise Against is like how like a big reason why Fall Out Boy like even got chances in the scene because I mean when Pete was in the hardcore band and made this, just soft boy shit, people were like, what is this garbage?
Go
And
back to
then,
Race Trader.
yeah, exactly. So then that's when, Rise Against is like, here, come with us, like we'll get you, we'll get this going. But yeah, I'm good with putting that, lower on the
At
list.
number 8, yeah.
I had something completely different next on my list, but I'm kind of good with changing it around last minute because yeah, I realized looking at what I wrote that all I wrote about it was a really really damn good closer to a 3-track run, like and it looking at some of the other things on the list, it definitely doesn't hold up as well as I thought it did.
My number 7 that I had was Sending Postcards from a Plane Crash, parentheses, Wish You Were Here.
It's exactly
Yeah.
the one that I had next.
Same.
Yep.
Yo, let's
I'm
go.
really glad that I've been holding my
Yeah.
own here.
You're doing great. Like, as if this is what we can call your like first foray into really talking about pop punk, like you're doing a great job.
I don't think it's like I've definitely talked about pop punk, but for an album that I just listened to for the first time a week ago, like I'm really
you're
proud
on
of
the money.
myself
You're on
here.
the money.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty
I will
good
say,
here.
like now, like what we're at this is number 6, right?
7.
Yeah.
7. I mean, like we're like at the halfway point now, and like from here it gets tough because like this
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
this song only for me is like 7 because the rest of the shit is just so fire. Because
Yeah.
like
The
this
rest of the
song
songs on
is
here are
really
perfect.
really catchy. I mean,
Yeah.
like just like the verse 2 where like the guitars drop out and it's just like Patrick's going like I have seen sinking ships go down with more grace than you. What do you mean? Like, imagine you're the person that song is about, and you hear that shit, and you're just like,
Oh.
"What the fuck?" Like, part of why 10 Month Summer won't write the breakup song is because how do we even come close to that? Like,
Yeah.
like what's the point? Like there's no. It's been done. It's there. The blueprint, foundation, skyscraper. It's all there. So, yeah. But yeah, I think it's yes, and despite that, it's still lower on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The next one I had is Sending Postcards from a Plane Crash. I really like it.
Our number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
that was the one that we just were talking about.
Which
Yeah.
Which one did I think? All right, yeah, I had that right. Sick.
Cool.
I'm getting all the quiz answers right. I'm doing my teachers proud. I studied.
My number 6 is, and I know this one's gonna piss you off tremendously. My
Don't
number
say it.
6 is Chicago Is So 2 Years Ago.
I'm leaving the call.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
How was the
That's
where's
fair.
the leave button? I have to fight you on this. That's my number 1. This song
That's
is
totally fair.
unbelievable.
I'm gonna
This
put my
song
piece
is
in and let y'all go
insane.
at it. I'm gonna put my piece in and let y'all go at it. I had Grenade Jumper here. That's my piece on it. I
could meet you there on that. I could meet you there on
Grenade
that.
Jumper, I think for me the thing about it is it just reminded me of summers with my friends.
Yes, for sure.
Genuinely, just the bond that you have with those people when you are that age.
Yeah.
Like that's all it reminded me of, and any song that makes me nostalgic for specific things is gonna be pretty high up.
It's
I feel
there-
I mean,
it's-
that song is the summers in PA for the Wonder Years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like we're in
I'm
sweaty
totally
basements, we're in backyards.
I know it's my top 2. I'm totally comfortable putting Grenade Jumper at number 6 because I know that that's like a personal thing for me.
I mean, I also like for personally as well. Like I love the story of Grenade Jumper. For me, it's the Sonics that like don't keep it as high for me as well. I also love the idea of paying homage to your friends. I mean, we have a lot of songs, like literally naming friends of ours, that have like gotten us through, but not even just band stuff, but personal stuff, right? So like, I respect the story around Grenade Jumper a lot. I think it was just like again, like for it being low on the list does not mean it's a bad song. Like every song on this album, just fire. But
My thing with Chicago Is So 2 years ago.
yeah, let me hear it.
I was at Riot Fest in 2022, and I was there when State Champs covered that song, and did you could probably see like still not at like very end of boy era Veronica in that video crowd surfing at some point. And on it, like that is unfortunately in the Riot Festness of it has unfortunately influenced for me to the point where I like the State Champs cover more because it reminds me of that
Oh
time
man.
more. I know I'm wrong. I've
I
never what let me make
but I
something very clear. I have never once claimed that I have good taste or that I should be a role model on this show.
And it's
that's fair,
time and
fair.
time again that you don't have good taste. So
Exactly.
good job. Sticking
I
to the
think
message.
I do think that State Champs did an amazing cover of that song, but like
That's because State
I
Champs is
think
a Fall Out Boy cover band.
Loki true. Uh, I, I I do, but I think that having Justin Pierre from Motion City Soundtrack sneak in on
Oh,
the
for sure.
bridge is like the diabolic. It's so good. Like it makes me wish like there was a super group where Patrick Stump and Justin Pierre like did like an Isles and Glaciers, but like non-problematic, basically.
I
Um,
skipped Ghost at the Aragon in 2018 to see Justin Courtney Pierre from Motion City Soundtrack, his first ever solo show.
Now I'm gonna
Oh,
fucking
nice.
fight you. Now I'm gonna fucking fight you. You skipped a Ghost show?
I got to see them at the Allstate Arena and it was better.
What year was this?
2018.
Okay, so not like early
No.
Ghost. Okay, I can forgive
My ex
you a
got to see
little
them at
bit.
my ex. I think got to see them at Lollapalooza.
mm.
But
All right.
my number 5 is another one. I think that this is probably my favorite single off of this record. It's the one that they close out every show with
Yeah,
when it's not in Chicago. My number 5 is Saturday.
yeah, yep.
Here, this
Saturday,
is the
so good.
best. This is the best that Pete's screaming ever sounded.
Yeah. I will miss this forever. I think like that's like how I wish I could scream. On
Yeah.
Saturday. It's so good.
I want to get my 6 out just because I was ready for us to go through them one at a time.
For
And
sure.
we're one ahead of me right now. I had Patron Saint of Liars and Fakes at 6. I love the anime ass intro for it, but
Yeah.
I like a lot. Yeah, I like it a lot. I also just want to say, just because I'm not gonna mention it the farther up we get, I had Tell That Mick at 9.
Crazy work.
How sold are you on having her as your co-host?
Well, hold on. That is the one that I said I was making a change about. I initially had it at 9.
Okay.
But listen, we're recording in real time after I've smoked. I've forgotten what I said 30 seconds ago. So it may make an appearance in the next entry.
I'm just
But-
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Tanner,
I think Saturday and the Patron Saint, but like they're neck and neck for me. Like I think Saturday is like an
yeah.
incredible single. Like nostalgia wise, it hits. The screams are awesome. But it is, it is very, very generic pop punk to me of the times at least. Which is like not a problem at all. It still bangs. And then
Fall Out
Patron
Boy are
Saint,
bad at closers.
yeah,
They're bad at choosing
Yeah.
songs for closers. Like
Yeah.
Dean and I were talking about this on the Split Jaw episode, on the Bracket episode. Folie à Deux should end with What a Catch Donnie, and the fact that
like
it doesn't is
100%.
fucking
What are they
ridiculous.
doing? What are
What
they
are you
like
doing?
that?
Why are you doing
Yes.
why are you doing the song that has like vocals from everybody on Fueled by Ramen plus Elvis Costello? Why are you having that not be the final track on the album?
Yes, 100%. I know. I'm sure people's like it's too cliche, but it's like you gotta lean it. You've done the cliche angle your entire career so far. You gotta do it there. But yeah, Patron Saint. I mean, love that. That's where the title track comes from. I'm a big fan of when the title of a record or an EP, whatever, doesn't come from the name, but from a
Yeah.
line in the song. I think it's really
You
cool.
don't fucking say 10-month summer, Nish.
um, I do want to give a shout out to one of my favorite lines. Where the fuck did it go? Oh yes, it's verse 2. Like let's just take a moment to again. This is the last track on the record, right? We've gone through 35 minutes of Pete and Patrick just like going at this person, and then they have I'm all ears and I'm all scars to hear you tell me, boys like you try too hard to know not quite as desperate. I'm hanging on, but I still know the way to make your makeup run. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up.
Holy
And like
shit.
the way that Patrick holds that run the note on like run and then it goes to and when it all goes to hell, like
And
bitch,
when it all
shut
goes
up.
to my favorite thing
Yeah.
about
That's good.
my favorite thing about Patron Saint of Liars and Fakes is just it is the one part on the record where I can hear Joe's lead work really starting to go crazy, which
Yes,
would
yeah.
like then go
Yeah.
on to be such a focal point of obviously Under the Cork Tree, but especially on Infinity on High. Like on
Mhm.
Bang the Doldrums, he's bringing in those like metal core-ish stuff that he with the that he would eventually
Yeah.
go on to help out with the damn things and everything like that. The lead work on that one, Saturday at number 5 and Patron Saint at number 4 works for me.
One of the first things I wrote about Patron Saint is it's just an anime ass intro song.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
fucking is. It's
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy's Dear Maria on this album. Like for emo songs that can be used as anime intros, it's up there.
I
For
can't
sure.
believe you're bringing up the Dear Maria anime intro.
How can you not? It works perfectly as an anime.
It does
intro,
work.
and I will
Unfortunately, it
fight
does work.
someone on this.
I'm gonna let y'all go with what your numbers 3 and 2 are because they've already been those ones have already been put on the list for me.
Well, I'll say my 4 has been Tell That Mick bumped up to 4.
Okay.
I swapped it out, and I'm not gonna say what my number 4 is because I'm really embarrassed about it after how low it was ranked.
Tell that Mick is my number 1. Really?
Okay.
Yeah, dead ass.
Okay.
I remember playing that song for a old friend of mine from college, and the song that she compared it to was "How Do You Sleep" by John Lennon.
Mm.
That is Tell that Mick he just made my list of things to do today. First of all, you fucking nerds. You fucking nerds with
Yeah.
your fucking Simpsons named band and your fucking Rushmore's named your Wes Anderson named
Yeah.
fucking song titles. You fucking nerd ass bitch. You fucking comic book store ass playing fucking pop punk band. But no, Tell That Mick is just that is one of the most vicious fucking songs.
Your
Oh my
makeup
God.
looks so good next to his teeth is such a
I
hard
wouldn't
fucking
piss to
line.
put you out is nasty
Let's
work.
play this game called If You Catch Fire. I wouldn't piss to put you. If you catch fire, I wouldn't piss to put you. I wouldn't piss to put you out. Stop burning bridges and drive off
And
of them
drive
so I
off
can
of them.
forget
Like
about you.
going back to what we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier about anger in music and like frustration in music, this is a perfect fucking example of it.
Absolutely.
That this is
Yeah.
this is just a broken man.
I'm so fine with Tell That Mick being at number 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's my number 2. I think that like what is insane about this song is one that it's the opening track, which is
Mhm.
nuts. Like what a way to
Yeah.
start the record, because this could also be the closer, low key.
Yeah.
Like if you had this at the end of the record, that would be an insane, like just the dial tone coming in, bah, 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 and then just you hit this you hit this fast ass shit. Something about this song though, like that caught me many years later, not when I first heard it, but it's just a little in the first verse when Pete writes to my favorite liar, to my favorite scar, but then
My
writes
favorite scar.
yeah, and then hits the I could have died with you, like just that, like there's a yearning right there. There's a little nugget they put in, and it's the first, it's the one, two, three, it's the fourth line in the fucking record. I could have died with you. Like here's
You
someone
heard
I
it
wanted
first
to
on the
spend.
Cuddlepunk Podcast. Pete Wentz and Patrick Stumper lesbians.
We knew
you heard
that.
it first.
There's many.
You heard it first.
There is many a
There's
text
so
written
much.
about them being.
Oh, I've read them.
You've read the milkshake.
I've read. I was genuinely wondering on the train over here if I should bring up the milk fig or not. Like, is that territory we're willing to go into? Not are we going to go into it? Because of course we're gonna go into it at some point, but are we willing to put that out on the internet that we know what the milk fig is?
We'll do a dramatic reading of the milkshake for the that'll be for the Patreon.
Oh God.
Please no. Please no.
I think the last 2 songs that we haven't put up there are Grand Theft Autumn, Where's Your Boy, and
Well,
I know
that you haven't put
that
on
I haven't
there.
put on there, but that I sacrificed those. I understood that I was wrong in that instance, and that was definitely going to be in the top 2.
Yeah. I think my third is Grand Theft Autumn, which I know it's overplayed. I know it's like everyone knows that you've heard it to death, but like so my first ever concert in my life that I went to was headliner Blink, then Fall Out Boy, Panic, and Chester French at Tinley Park.
Christ.
It was nutty. It was the most insane like coming of age to see live music in my life. I was in the fucking lawn seats, but I just remember like this was oh 06, oh 07, I forget. I think Infinity on High was had just come out. This was definitely pre hiatus, but yeah, I just remember like I think they do this on the live album they have too, the Live in Phoenix, where P1 is just like, please stand for your Fall Boy national anthem, and then you just it gets quiet and you just hear, where is your boy
Yeah.
tonight? And like chill, it fucking chills. Like I mean, I
Mhm.
think there's something incredible about like this track. Also, for like this track is high key a yearning track. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
you need him, I could be him. I could be an accident, but I'm still trying. Like put that on a Tenmo record. I mean, fuck.
Hey.
Like this song walks so TM36 could run. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
this
absolutely.
is so good.
I think that
Like
means our
man.
top two are because I'll let it be in the top two, but I will not let it be the number one for Grand Theft Auto. I think that makes Chicago is So 2 years ago the number one.
I'd be okay
It
with
is for me through and through. I
Yeah.
mean, like I think "Tell That Mick" is like an insane song, and it would be number one in terms of like the songs and everything. But I think there's just like something about. I know for me, I'm also clouded by nostalgia always. I mean, that's kind of just like what it means to be a yearner. But like, I listened to the song when I lived in Virginia for 3 years for grad school. It was one a nightmare. It was during the first Trump administration, and so like
Ugh.
flying home, I would always play the song right when I could start seeing the city from the plane, and just like just like there's a light on in Chicago and I know I should be home. You know what I mean? Like there's like I don't think there's I think that Chicago is mentioned a lot in music, and I'll give Joe the credit of like, when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it.
hmm
I think until that song came out, we didn't have a good song that could stand the test of time about the city. And now people be like, "Oh, Kanye West. Kanye West is a fucking Nazi." So yeah, anything
True.
that he's ever done is a moot point to me about loving the city. You can't love Chicago and be a goddamn Nazi. So,
Yeah.
Kanye haters, sorry, kiss my ass. But
Fuck 'em.
or Kanye
Don't
lovers, whatever.
apologize to them, man.
Yeah.
Like Kanye.
Ohio is
Fuck
for
them.
Ohio is for lovers. Chicago is not for Nazis.
Yes, yeah. Put that on a Cuddlepunk t-shirt.
Bet.
That's straight up what it is.
I
But
want to
I don't
talk
know.
about going
Eh,
to Chicago is So 2 years ago. That thing of the skyline. Jesse, can you come over here real quick? She's mad that I'm doing this. So this is one of my other girlfriends, Jessie. She just moved to Chicago. She's been staying at my place for a little while. She was
Welcome.
driving me to.
Nish says welcome.
Nish says welcome. She was driving me to work the other day, a couple of weeks, like probably like one of the first days that she was in here, that she was in the city, and we're driving down whatever highway it is to get from my place to the loop where I work, and you see the skyline, and I immediately put on Chicago was So 2 years ago, just to help her realize that yeah, you're home now. You've been wanting to be here for almost a decade now, and you're finally here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm really glad you're here.
A little late.
I love you.
Cool.
That is our Take This to Your Grave ranked list. What a wonderful first episode for Scarlett to be on here. Nish, it's always wonderful to have you on the Cuddlepunk podcast. Tell me where we can find you and where we can find Time on Summer.
Yeah, don't worry about finding me. I'm usually on the 10 mil accounts, talking mad shit, doing dumb shit on Twitter. But you can find us on Twitter. I know that Twitter is also owned by a Nazi, and we've thought a lot about like what our presence on that space means. But I think that there is also an importance of like fighting back in spaces that are being actively taken over. I think it
I
was a
completely
really
agree.
good place for, people to come together. And it's like what got us into the scene, when 10 month was like coming up. I mean, we're still coming up, but like, when we were getting our foothold in the door. And I don't think that we should lose it because some dude bros who can't fucking be adults, kind of ruin the space. So yeah, I mean, he'll
Unfortunately,
do
Twitter
his
is where all the bad bitches are still.
And Blue Sky.
also true.
We're
Yeah.
also on Blue Sky.
It's true.
Yeah, they're on Blue Sky, yeah, but I think that Blue Sky has a lot of work to do still, and it's like one, it's algorithm, and two, it's like a lot of just like basic features and capacities that like
Absolutely.
just don't exist. But so yeah, we're on the Twitter machine. We post here and there on Instagram. I'm more of a yapper person, so I'm always just like I'm on Twitter more so. We're trying to be better on TikTok. Again, like everything we do is not to like get streams or like listeners, views or whatever. It's more so like we're just having some fun while also trying to like be decent people to ourselves and to each other. And of course, the 10-month Discord is a great place to be. You can talk to us directly there all the time. We'll try to be more active in there and have some fun, do some more cool things, and then follow all that stuff so you can also know when we play. We're playing Chicago a lot this year. And we've got hopefully some news coming up about tour with some other Chicago friends that will be taking us out on the road. But that's I've leaked enough stuff today, so
For
we'll keep
sure.
that
And we
under wraps.
appreciate getting all we appreciate all the scoops that you're giving to the show.
That's like
Of
four
course,
at this
yeah,
point
yeah.
today alone.
I know,
sure.
yeah. With a
You
lot
can-
happening, we're just really quiet as we move, but we're making moves, I promise.
You can find links to all of that in the description down below. 10-month Summer Fate Lines is out now
Go
on
listen to
streaming.
Fate
Go listen to
Lines.
Fate Lines. Bummer Summer 2 is at Beat Kitchen on June 28th. Be there. It is last year was
better
so much
be
fun.
there.
I want to make sure that room is packed the same way that it was last year.
Yes.
You can find links to all of Tenmo's stuff in the description. You can also find all of my links in my link tree in the description down below. You can also find Scarlett on Blue Sky in the description down below. If you like this episode, please leave a like. Please leave a comment with what your favorite song on Fall Out Boy's Take This to Your Grave is. Leave your rankings in the comments down below on all of the
Hell
different
yeah.
platforms. Leave a review on Spotify and Apple Music and share everything with your friends. If you share it on Twitter, please make sure to use the hashtag BackshotSummer2. It's back, baby. We're so back.
Backshot Summer 2, Electric
We're so Backshot Summer 2.
The day my parents find out about this is the day that 10-month Summer announces a hiatus on Twitter. It's like my parents saw the hashtag. It's a good run, guys. We'll see you later.
You can if you really enjoy the show and you want to help out, you can please support the Cuddlepunk Podcast Patreon. That is patreon.com/the Cuddlepunk Podcast. We've got a lot of cool stuff on there for either $3 or $5 a month, and we're gonna have more stuff coming up. I think we're doing like album reviews like monthly or something like that on
Hell yeah.
Patreon.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. The theme song for the Cuddlepunk Podcast is Lose a Turn by Mod Stout of Splitjaw. You can find all the Splitjaw stuff in the description. The
Hell
logo
yeah.
for the Cuddlepunk Podcast is done by Lauren Young. You can find her Instagram in the description down below. Scarlett, thank you so much for being on this episode. And Nish, thank you as always for coming on the show. Tenmo,
Of course.
y'all are my actual children that I birthed from my womb, and I'm so happy that y'all are some of my best friends in this scene, and I would not still be doing this show if it wasn't for y'all. So I really appreciate you guys.
Likewise, we're always here for y'all. That's what we want to do.
I got one last thing to say.
Yeah.
Fuck Trump, fuck